I know, right? We moved the stream from Thursday to Friday. We avoided the Thursday dump only to be welcomed by a Friday dump. It's quintuple witching, as Seb said, which I think is the funniest thing I've heard in a while because I just can't avoid it. Can't avoid not streaming on a down day. That's just the way it is. The stream will revert the markets. That's right. What's up, everybody? We'll get started in a second. If you want me to look at anything, as always, just let me know in the chat here. I kind of need, I get a lot of great ideas from folks in the chat on charts. I get a lot of idea generation on trades that I actually take. So I appreciate anybody throwing stuff up there. Now, may I judge you secretly if you are talking to me about some altcoin? Absolutely, but that is my right as a human being. Yeah, I had to keep the Discord links private because we got bombarded with spam. So we'll have to figure out a way. I'm also trying to keep it under a certain number of people just so it doesn't get out of hand. It feels like, let me make sure I don't have pizza on my face here. 1 second. Okay. It feels like AI, quantum, and nuclear are really sucking the oxygen out of the room, at least over the past 2 weeks, maybe? I mean, since the Fed dropped rates, this quantum stuff has really, really taken off. I don't think it helps when, it doesn't help crypto when we're seeing exuberance elsewhere, right? Most of the time, at least that I've noticed. We had this period of time with Nvidia, right, where Nvidia was just absolutely rocking and Bitcoin was doing nothing. If we add BTC, just as an example, here we go. We'll do new left scale. It was back here, right? So this was pre-election. Nvidia May 2024. Nvidia had a huge move. BTC was diverging. Even in 23, when really nobody was paying attention to Nvidia, at least certainly less people were, Nvidia also had a huge move. For the momentum people, it takes attention to pull them into something, right? And we can say like, this is all dumb money, moving nuclear, AI, quantum. This is all like highly speculative fast money. It doesn't really matter who it is, but we've said this before. Like, we need a little bit of something to get us going, whether that's going to be ETF flows, whether that's going to be some news announcement. I don't know. But as we sit here right now, it's clear that BTC is not the place to be in the ultra near term, and that may change into a better period of seasonality, aka Q4. And this is September. This is just what we've seen. So it's not like it's crazy out of question to get just a nothing burger for September. It's just if you're looking at everything else move around you and you don't have like a direction as far as a plan of action for BTC or whatever, then yeah, you're going to be like, what the heck, right? Like, what am I doing here? I guess we'll start with crypto. We'll get to the AI stuff and the mistakes that I've made on RGTI and Oklo specifically. Those are the two big ones. Mistakes I've made and ways to not make those mistakes. But for BTC, I still like the cup and handle. I still like that we're holding above the cloud-ish. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. So It's like the same story, broken record, but wake me up when September ends. If we go to the yearly pivots, there's yearly pivots at 122 and 150. So those would be the levels. If we break 122 in earnest, I like 150 just based on pivots. If we add the cup and handle onto that, that's 140 to 160. If we add some other things onto that, it's probably confluent with that general area. But that's what I like for Q4. If we get anything else beyond that, great, right? But initially, that's going to be the first targets, first levels. We certainly have to survive down here first. And what this may morph into is a nice little inverted head and shoulders. And it's less about what actually happens and more about when and where do you feel confident enough to size appropriately to be there, right? So whatever this morphs into, maybe it doesn't morph into an inverted head and shoulders. I don't know, whatever, right? Something that I'm watching for is this thing on BTC. We may or may not get it. So if we can hold the low and then make a higher high, that's super bullish, but that's probably not going to happen until October. It's probably going to be another couple weeks of chop. So on my personal trading, people keep asking me about like tracking my trades. In the Discord, I track the trades that I take. It's hard to do that like live on a stream because some of these I've been holding for like Amazon. I've been holding since December, right? So it's just like it's hard to every week kind of say what I'm doing, but it's all there. One thing I did start to do was nibble on some IBIT January calls, like super small size. And this goes back to the confidence thing. Like, what do you need to see to be confident? Some people, they're already super confident, right? If we go to this APSK guy who does great work, he's talked about this for a few weeks now. He's watching the basically the seasonality fractals. Just trying to find his tweet. So he does really good work on this sort of stuff. But if you look at the orange line, that's where we are today. And so his thinking was based on the risk reward, based on seasonality, based on the 4-year cycles, we were at a period of time for him where he is confident enough to start buying options or leverage or whatever, right? Not everybody's going to be there. I'm certainly not there yet. I'd love to see the cloud wake up a little bit. I'd love to see us survive a little dip here, whatever that may be, 115, I don't know, whatever, right? I don't think it's exactly as clean cut, but you could trade it as though it was. You could just say, you know what? My stop loss is, drum roll please, 105. Just give it like a huge berth to say, okay, if we go to 105, for some people it's going to be 100, right? Again, this depends on just like how much pain can you tolerate, but you could absolutely start trading it like that. I'm not quite there in the confidence level that we're like ready to go today. I'd rather wait just a little bit more. A lot of people are starting to get on the plane, right? They're starting to get on the plane. I'm just sitting in the lobby, whatever still, I'm plugging in my phone. I'm just going to wait a little bit just to see. But I don't think it's unreasonable based on this because of the risk reward, not really because of anything else, but because of what we've seen historically for Q4. This could be a huge trade. I just think it's worth waiting a little bit longer for me personally. But again, some people, they're going to see this stuff. They're going to see everything else moving around it. They're going to see rates coming down. They're going to see all these other markets at all-time highs and say, this is enough for me. Totally reasonable. Don't think I'm there yet, but I know what's important is for you personally, like where's the level where you're like, all right, I want this much in by this level, or I'm just going to dollar cost average from now until mid-October. If we break 122, I'm all in, whatever. Just ways to think about it. But I don't think we're quite there on the BTC just yet. Let me just read chat, sorry. Timing widget. Near ASML, BTC. Rigetti and Oklo. Yeah, I wish I was killing it. I'll get to that in a second. Lift. Yeah, see, if we go back to, again, this is less about the chart, but more about like, what do you do when you're expecting a breakout, you're expecting a move, but we're not quite there yet? What do you want to see, if anything, to be confident? So if we go to the gold example, again, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just about the thought process of what me personally, I don't care what other people do, but for me personally, what did I want to see? I wanted to see this start to make a higher high. We talked about this diagonal here, like just like little stuff, right? Little tiny stuff. Yes, it has to hold support. Yes, it has to hold the cloud. Yes, it has to have a bullish TK cross. All that stuff is all true. All of that sort of happened around the same time. This diag, right? So for BTC, it's like, okay, let's see if we can make a low and hold it. Let's see if we can make a high and hold it, and then go from there. And then I can like load the boat, right? We can do calls, we can do BITU, we can do MSTU, whatever it is you want to do. I'm all about it. But for this specific moment of confidence, I don't think we're quite there for BTC. Not quite. Q4 Sol targets. Okay, we'll talk about it. Pengu, in the abstract, what would your highest conviction? Yeah, so this is exactly it. You know, this bullish TK recross, that's the time to shoot your shot. Absolutely. And especially if you're in a consolidation, a multi-month consolidation, absolutely. I know we're jumping around already, but someone was asking about lift. This is another one. It is nothing to do with what this is, right? That's super important because a lot of people get hung up on, they got this Waymo deal, or Rigetti, Oklo has this government contract, right? Like there's all this other stuff, but it's already too late. When you hear that information, it's already too late. The move, for the most part, the meat of it has already happened, right? So at what point in here can you get confident? And for me, it's always like, okay, towards the end, right? Towards the very end, that's where you expect this to start to do something. And when you see enough of these, when you see like 100 of these, when you see 500 of these, you get a sense of just instinctually, when you're close, you're not always going to be right, but when you're close, the Roblox is another example. Same deal, right? This thing just ground you out for years, literal years. And now it's whatever it is, right? Hood, the same example. So when you're looking for breakouts like this, you have to be okay with good enough and being confident enough to say, I'm going to buy X amount here, I'm going to add here. If it's at 46, like in this example on Roblox, I don't feel bad that I missed it. Like it's just getting started, right? So the lift example, like the news is the news. If this pulls back, great, I'll add. Roku's one I bought last night. Like again, Roku is Roku, It doesn't matter. One Roku is one Roku. It is everything just relative to the technical analysis. Now this could fail. This could go to like this, right? I'll stay in the trade and I'll just add at highs again. I'll just keep adding later on. Like it could be weeks from now, right? But to me, this charts like this are where I like to play on the breakout. Wormhole, same deal. Just as an example, not tooting my own horn here, but let me find the right chart. Kraken. Wormhole, it got close to where you'd expect it to start to do something. And here we are, right? IMX, same deal. So I'm not special, I'm not smart, I'm just patient, just super, super patient. But that's what I like for high conviction. Multi-month setup on anything. And then you do what you can, you see what you can do, right? You just have to be confident enough to size it appropriately. Alt BTC pairs look good on the cloud. Yeah, if we look at like total 2 BTC, like I was saying on Wednesday, this on the daily looks good. Looks good on the weekly, 3-day. It's basically ETH BTC because ETH is such a huge majority of total 2. The problem is with ETH and Sol, they've moved up a lot, and they don't look particularly high momentum at the moment. You know, does this inspire confidence in you? This, whatever this is, head and shoulders type thing. This most likely at this point is going to do nothing for a little while, a little down chop, but just like, you know, it's not going to probably do much of anything. So is it bearish? Not really. It's not bearish. Is it like actionable for me personally? No, I just don't see anything here. But there are a lot of alt BTC pairs that are starting to curl up. Absolutely. Longest fan, Long Boy. Thank you, Long Boy. 2017 was a monster year. Yeah, it was. Yeah, on the pullbacks post breakout, that's when I add, usually. Like, again, it depends on your entry, it depends on your size, it depends on your leverage amount, it depends on your tolerance for whatever. If this is actually going to go anywhere, it just started. This is my opinion, obviously. It has nothing to do with wormhole. I don't care about any news. I don't care about fundamentals. That right? Like it helps. It always helps that there's something going on with in this case, a treasury company or whatever. But my opinion has nothing to do with that. The opinion has everything to do with how does this look. So long as this can hold 9 cents, I'm okay with it. If we want to talk specifics, it's like this level right here, the cloud, daily cloud. So I'm holding this. I'm not doing anything, right? Like, what do I care? It's still in profit for me. You can't be afraid to let the trade play out. But again, if you're on 100x leverage, that's a different story. Yeah, Nebius is another one. All these really great, because I don't do a lot of scanning on like stuff in sectors that I don't normally pay attention to. So over the past like couple months, especially, a lot of people have come in and said, look at this AI, look at this, look at SoundHound, look at Big Bear, look at Nebius, look at what are some other ones? Ionic, right? A lot of people have been all over this stuff, and rightfully so. I've traded it a little bit, some of it, certainly like this chart. I mean, come on, what am I doing? Not sending alerts on this, trading this. We talked about it. You know, we talked about the panel thing. I just haven't been paying attention to the, where is it? I haven't been paying attention to the quantum stuff. We had a whole thing, right? Yeah, here it is. Rigetti off the page, Ionic off the page. Qubit. They all look great. It's just like a little late. It's a little late. Yeah, nibble before the breakout, and then I'll just add. I'll double it, I'll triple it, I'll just keep adding. Near and Dot are another one. 2 more I've bought recently. Near IMX. AVAX, I don't think I ever bought. I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. We talked about it plenty. IMX I did. That one's doing fine. A little late on that one, if I'm being honest at this point. Near I bought last night. Again, it looks good enough. Whether this goes anywhere, I don't know, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to take some swings, right? Maybe I'll hit a double. Maybe I'll strike out. But you're swinging at the appropriate pitches, at least. You're swinging at stuff where momentum looks as though, to me, again, my opinion, you're starting to see pick up a little bit. I'm not swinging at stuff like TIA, right? Like, what is this? Like, we're maybe starting to get there at one day, but we're not there today. What's another example? Ocean. Cloud is the ultimate litmus test for me. So if we're below the cloud, it's just not for me. It's not for me until we're above. All of these down here, Aptos even. Aptos is pretty close as well. But I'm not swinging at these pitches. I'm swinging at the pitches like IMX, like Near, like Wormhole, like DYDX. This one hasn't moved really at all yet either, but anything that looks like this remotely, love it. Love it as an idea, love it as an opportunity for me personally. Why do I use log scale over everything? Because if you like zoom out on BTC, this is the real main reason to use log, right? If you go like the past decade on Bitcoin, right? On log, you can actually see what happened. On regular, what does this tell you? I don't know. Like, it doesn't tell me anything. Now you could argue, okay, use log for a higher time frame, use linear for a lower time frame. I just leave it on log. I don't know. I can just see stuff better. That's just me. Yeah, some of these others, somebody mentioned SUI, INJ, LTC kind of. Let me find the chart. There it is. On the USD pairs, they've been consolidating for a while, like the entire year, right? I think there's a pretty clean and obvious, hey, here's the level where things start to matter for most of these charts that have a structure like this. So for SUI, it would be like, I'm surprised I don't have an alert there, but 410. And there's a ton of these. INJ looks the same. Ton looks similar. But you know, anything that looks like it's tightening on the consolidation, the levels of okay, this is a breakout or okay, this is not a breakout, I think are increasingly obvious. Man, trying not to do vocal fry today, but am I an optimist? No. Am I an optimistic person? I am an optimistic person. Breakout trading doesn't fit a pessimistic style. You're absolutely right. Some people do not like going to the long side, and that's personality based. That I've found. You know, some people, the macro people, they love being long gold, long volatility, or short volatility, whatever the flavor of the week is there. Long gold, long oil, short the S&P, stuff like that. Fully aware it's awful. Yeah, I think instead of thinking of coins individually, think about them in baskets or segments. Like there's kind of maybe 4 to 5 different versions of charts that are floating around right now for alts. So it's like, okay, yeah, this is Cardano, I get it, or this is Curve, right? But collectively, if you're looking at 50 of these charts, which buckets can you put them in? Can you put them in a potential bullish reversal bucket? Can you put them in a breakout bucket? Can you put them in a consolidation bucket? Can you put them in a still in a downtrend bucket, right? So it really has nothing to do, like my opinion on ADA has nothing to do with the coin. It has everything to do with how does this look. This looks like it's trying to break out. That's what it looks like. It may fail. It may go nowhere. It's at a spot where it's holding above its breakout level. It's probably above the cloud, if I had to guess. Yeah, so it's above the cloud. So this could start off looking like absolutely nothing, right? And then start to move higher. That's where I'd feel more confident. We zoom way out. This has been very, very choppy. Very, very choppy. So you just have to know, what are you looking at here, right? Like what have you done for me lately? Super chop. That super chop could be ending. But as an individual, you need to say, okay, what is the risk reward here? Do I swing at this or not? And then with what size? Is the size the same across the board, or is the size based on the basket that I put it in? So if I think this is a breakout trade, am I sizing all the breakout trades the same? Am I adding on a higher high? Like make that decision tree for yourself and try to remove as much decision making process on the fly out of it as you can. Just say, okay, I like it here. It could be a breakout. I'm going to buy some. I'm going to add at 94 cents as an example. Do you like to run in sectors? Not really, Jack. Generally, you want to be trading the leader. Like Tesla versus Rivian is a classic example, or Oklo versus some other nuclear thing. Tesla has all the attention of the world, whereas Rivian maybe does not. So you want to fish where the fish are. If they're still filling up the pond and the fish are not there yet, no one's going to care, right? So that's why this argument of like trading the known leader in a sector. So if you're trading EVs, right, or if you're trading Bitcoin miners, you don't want to trade miners generally that are out of favor in the sector or just like dogs for whatever reason, right? So Rivian, despite my love for Rivian, it has yet to do anything. Still in this trade, I added some yesterday. It's going to take time, right? It's spent its entire literal life just consolidating. So if this can hold some highs above 15, I like it a lot better. I'll probably double the size of the total position. And at 1650, I might add more, but I'm willing to just continue to build this and wait. See what happens. Just adding alerts for myself as a reminder. But meanwhile, look at Tesla, right? It's up 20% in a week or something. So it's definitely worth identifying at least what the crowd thinks are the leaders of a sector. It might not be your personal opinion, but that's okay. All right, let me run through. So Bitcoin we talked about. I don't have anything on low time frames really either. I just don't think there's anything. I really don't think there's anything actionable here from a TA perspective on any time frame. If I'm going to be honest, it's just a wait and see. I like the seasonality tailwind. I like the liquidity. Like if we look at global liquidity up here, global liquidity, is it the green line? Yeah. Why does it look so different? Oh, I'm zoomed in a little bit. Global liquidity made a higher high. Bitcoin is still waiting to do that, right? If I can figure out my scale situation. So it would be different if rates were going up instead of down, if liquidity was going down instead of up. So I'm not really worried about it long term at all. ETH, I have said, we'll go to the COT data first, but if we want to think about reasons to be not super bullish, ultra near term on ETH, one of those reasons is the COT data, which is just positioning and in some ways also sentiment. Commercials, no matter who they are on anything for this data set, tend to be correct. So if they are super short, it is generally going to be very hard for price to go up. If you're bullish ETH, you want to see commercials bullish. Again, I don't care who they are or what they're doing. I don't care that some of the time the data here is not congruent with what you'd expect. All I care about is what happens a majority of the time in this data set. And the majority is when you look like this, it's hard to go up when you look like this. There's that for ETH. ETH also had, interesting, we're getting some bear stuff on the AI cloud, but ETH was also just up a lot quickly. And it's just harder to pull that stuff up because you've got people who've been holding coins for a long time who have missed several rallies, opportunities to sell, coming in and saying, okay, now's my time, Like we're talking 5-6 years old or whatever coins, right? ICO coins. They don't care about 8K. They've been holding since like 2 pennies, you know, like this is fine for them. What do they care? So the market has to absorb that and digest that. Cloud-wise, again, there's just nothing like, what is there to do here on ETH? I don't know. And I'll keep saying this over and over and over again, but if you're holding this for 8, that could be correct at the end of the day. I don't know. Just zoom out a little bit, right? If you're bullish on ETH, this is why you're bullish. You're bullish because there's an opportunity for a 2x still. Totally could happen longer term. I don't know about, you know, a lot of people are expecting this 2x within the end of the year. Possible, totally possible. But you're not looking at low time frames for that, which is fine, right? That's what makes a market. I just don't see anything here today that's actionable. I haven't seen anything for a little while that's actionable on ETH. The other tough part about this is if like you've missed the breakout, if you've missed all this stuff, you're still looking at this thinking, okay, this has to keep going, this has to keep going. Some people. And it just doesn't, right? It just does this instead. The FOMO people are buying the bags of the people that have been holding and are probably selling, or people that are rotating out of this. I don't know. So is it bearish? No, I don't see anything. I don't see anything that looks tradable. That's all. You know, like it's like a buddy of mine. He's talking about what is it? Nugget? No. Maybe. Talking about Nugget, which is up. It's up 300% on the year. 300%. This is 2x gold miners. Like he's asking me about this like this week, last week. I'm like, bro, it's up 300%. I mean, like it could keep going, but you kind of, for me, I need a technical reason that it keeps going. So yeah, you want to buy high and sell higher, fine. It's just tough because you missed it, right? It's like, okay, maybe look for something else. So I don't know. That's how I feel about ETH. Just in a very, very short term, the move appears to have happened. And you can probably say the same a little bit for Solana. It just looks like it needs to consolidate. That's all. It's not bearish. I just don't have anything, I don't have anything to say, you know? So it looks fine. Someone was asking me about Q4 targets. If you want to get turbo bullish Sol, we've talked about this. There it is. It's already drawn out for you. That's how I know we've talked about it. I forget the guy's name. Somebody like last year was asking me about this cup and handle thing. Totally a possibility. So if you're saying the risk reward on this is, let's see. Let's go, say we go long today. Our stop loss is, I don't know, 130. Target is, that's a 15 risk reward, 10 to 15, something like that. So like, if that is your risk reward, what do you care about the daily, the 3-day, the 4-hour, the 5-minute? You don't care. It's just very hard to trade this if you're trading on leverage, which is what most people are doing. So, you know, how would I handle this on leverage? I would just stick to spot. And as it starts to break out, then you pile on the leverage. But you don't just sit here and eat downside volatility for no reason. You're eating fees, you're eating whatever, right? Sol T is one way to do that. You're not going to see a chart here because it just started trading, but one way to think about this is, okay, I like Sol here, fine. What I'm going to do is hold Sol in whatever account at 1x. My stop loss is whatever I want it to be. And then if the time comes when I think this is going to go to 1,000, then I'm going to start buying leverage, right? That's one way to do it. I just think it's a little early, personally, for me. And the rest of this stuff, it just feels like it needs more time. Like, we are on the right side of where things could happen, Ripple like XRP? Maybe something. Say chop, 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 chop. H bar, chop, chop, chop. Curve, falling wedge. LTC, chop, chop, chop. Link, maybe a giant cup and handle. None of this is actionable to me today. Algo, falling wedge. ENA, giving it back. BNB, I just don't trade BNB, so I don't have an opinion there, but looks fine. Aave, again, like this goes back to the open when we were talking about breakouts. Where are you comfortable buying in this? 305 here? Are you gonna wait? I always like buying highs. I always like waiting personally, just being super patient. So Aave specifically, I like 325 plus. But that doesn't mean you just forget about it and then just like, don't actually take the trade. That's the worst thing you can do is be watching this stuff for weeks, right? Set your alerts, your plan mentally written down, whatever. And then the day comes and you just take no action. There's nothing worse than that, in my opinion. So across the board, the breakout stuff I like. AVAX, definitely super late. ADA, you could probably argue, is in the conversation of a breakout. ARB has this ETH fractal where it's, I don't know, kind of dependent on ETH. I should probably let me add OP to this. That was another one. Add symbol. This one also looks very, very good. Just vanilla inverted head and shoulders. Take the high, take the low. There's your fibs, there's your levels, etc. For people who are wondering, I get this question all the time. At the very bottom of the fibs menu, you'll see fib levels based on log scale. If you have that off, you will get different levels here. From my lived experience, turning this on is better. Not because it gives you higher targets, but because we typically reach for those levels, especially if you're on log scale. Yeah, dot down here as well. Looks good, right? Do any of these look, I don't know, I mean, they look better than the top of this list, right? The top of this list sort of already broke out on the first leg, and now the mid caps are kind of breaking out a little bit, and then the lower cap stuff is kind of just waiting. So I don't know, like, what is actionable today? I like OP, IMX maybe not today, a little late. Near, Wormhole, Matic. Matic looks kind of dumpy, but whatever. DYDX, DOT. If I had to throw money at something, it would be that stuff. Doge has also kind of broken out. Kind of looks good. It's been just like crazy chop, right? But it has held some levels. So if I'm throwing money at a meme coin, it's going to be this. SHIB hasn't broken out yet. Pepe, no. Bonk. Chop. Whiff. My biggest meme bag has done nothing. Floki, chop. Someone asking me about Zcash. There's always one person, somehow, who they find this coin. I don't know how they find it. Does it look structurally good? I guess here's better than the past couple years. I don't see anything bearish. You could argue the W stuff. Could argue inverted head and shoulders down here. I just, based again on my lived experience of watching this thing since inception trade, I have zero faith that this will ever outperform anything. Ever. Now that could be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm not going to be wrong and throw money at it and expect it to do well. So that's why I never talk about Zcash. That's all. It's okay. Zeke and Tau. At least with Tau, it's got like the AI thing, right? Let's check. Somebody else was asking me about it. Again, where's the actionability here? I don't know. I just don't see anything super clean as a setup. That's the issue. If this starts to curl up, if it starts to make higher highs, if there's some sort of pattern that emerges, I got nothing. You know, like we can talk about expectations of AI and whatever, but that's not what I'm looking at here. What I'm looking at here is just chop, you know? Just straight chop. Zeke is the future. What's up, Ray? What Zcash should have done is become an ERC20 and just like shut down the network, but that didn't happen. .9NJ. Yeah, Zach, what I was saying about the buckets and the baskets, if you were here for that, I would trade anything that looks the same at the same. So like, you know, maybe you don't like DOT, fine. But if you're bullish on the chart and it looks like this chart called OP, sure, right? If I'm swinging at something, it's looking like this right now. It's looking like OP wormhole. Down only for the entire year, consolidating for the past couple months. That's what I like right now. Yeah, render. Do we look at render? Didn't they like change the ticker or something? They changed it from RENDR to RENDER, right? Huge, groundbreaking stuff. Yeah, you can throw it in the conversation. It's kind of a mess, but I don't know. It's not like not clean, but something is trying to. That's the issue with. I think especially if you're learning how to trade and you're trading shit coins, some of the time you can get super clean stuff, but I tend to feel like if you're learning, you're gonna see cleaner patterns elsewhere, like on higher liquidity stuff. Thank you, Zach. Sorry, just reading. See, this is Luke. Luke is talking about exactly what people should be doing. Like, if you know a framework, if you've back tested it, if you've traded it, who cares what my opinion is? You're not here to listen to me, right? I hope. Is this the right chart? I think so. You know, again, like it could be pump, it could be Barra, it could be hype. If I don't talk about this, someone's gonna. It's going up. I got nothing else. Yeah, I'm not a Zcash person. I never will be. Sorry. I've seen too much. I'm the man who knows too much. It's been a dog for years. So yeah, just right. Zeke, I could be wrong. I might go to infinity. ADA, not a fan historically. Might do super well. What do I know, right? If it looks good on the framework of the back-tested technicals, sure. Why not? Why not? All right, for legacy. What is the SPY doing today? Let's just start there. Almost a new all-time high today again. Ho hum. Another all-time high coming up there. Q's all-time high today. It's pretty bullish. I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's pretty bullish. IWM small caps had been outperforming low caps as they should if rates are coming down. Sorry, low caps are outperforming high caps as rates are coming down, especially as high caps have outperformed low caps in a high rate environment. Similar to alts and BTC. You know, you're seeing some strength in BTC on dominance. Or strength on alts relative to BTC on dominance. So all this stuff is making sense. You know, it's harder to keep pushing up NVIDIA versus a zombie company just because it takes more money to push this up, right? NVIDIA doesn't really look like anything to me here. I don't see a trade at all for NVIDIA. That's the other part of this. There's no obvious setup that the setup people are watching. There's no momentum that the momentum people are trading. It's just chopping around. Of the Mag 7, I know a lot of people caught the Tesla move. I'm still holding the Tesla from, what was it? Maybe 320, 325, somewhere down here. The other one I like right now, I bought some yesterday, was Amazon. Super high time frame idea. You know, it's not going to blow your socks off in a day, but hasn't moved. For the miners, WGMI is at its historical, which is the mining ETF. It's at its historical pitchfork diagonal resistance. We'll see if it can break through that. It does feel a little late on this as well, as a group. Individually, there's maybe some things to do, but it's like 4x since April. Like, it's been wild. Ren continues to do well. I got nothing to say. Like, if I was going to trade this, it would have been down here at 20. I just didn't. The other place to do this is at 10. Also didn't. Can't catch them all. I'm just doing other stuff, but nothing to do here. Wolf. What do we got on Wolf? Anything? Post breakout, it's tough because, like, do you really want to jump in this here? Maybe just dollar cost average. I don't know. I got nothing that's actionable on that today. Bitfarms, better to be lucky than good. You know, I talked about this back here at $1.20 or something. I'm still holding it. Looks fine. There's not a single Williams fractal on this yet on the daily. No trailing stop loss at all. So I'm just going to do nothing. I got nothing to do. It has exceeded the log, you know, the log scale, log fib target, by the way, in case you're keeping track. Cypher, a little bit of room to go on this one. A lot of people talking about Cypher as well as some of these other HPC mining operations. It still might have a 2x in it from here. I don't know. So, you know, however individually you want to play that, but doesn't look terrible. This is what you want to see from ETH, by the way, to 8K. And we talked about this, like, ETH, Cypher, URA, if we go to uranium. This megaphone stuff. Megaphones, to me, I don't like trading unless they hold their breakout levels, because if this dips back in like Coin did, Coinbase, it's, for me, very hard to trade. So uranium looks good. Anything uranium looks good here. Just super late. Like, what is the actionability today? Like, like, if you're not in this trade, who cares? But if you're in this trade, you're just waiting. You're probably just doing nothing. Coin, if we look at that real quick. Again, some people not happy with my opinion on Coin looking like junk, but it's tough to trade this. It's tough. IMO, in my opinion. You could just trade it, you know, shut this stuff off and say, okay, if it breaks out of the cloud, I'm in. But we're not there yet either. So keep that in mind for ETH too, because if ETH breaks down, back into this like 3.5K, 3K zone, it's just tough. It's just tough. On the AI side, because that's where all the action's happening. A lot of people, what are some of these cues we talked about? ARK is another one. You know, there's always a party somewhere. I haven't talked about ARK in a couple weeks, but continues to just print. Continues to just go higher. Really nothing to say on that one, you know. It's like the party already is fully happening on that one. DocuSign, someone was asking me about, right? Doximity. This kind of looks like SoundHound a little bit. Yeah, it looks okay. It's not bearish, obviously. It's just like, what are you pulling this up today? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to buy it? No, I'm not. SoundHound similar, kind of just like curling up. Big Bear AI is another one. What do we got here? Trying to break out maybe a cup and handle. Maybe something for me to think about. Someone at the very open, they were asking me about Galaxy. Okay, Bitfarms and Cypher. Wait, so Cypher I still like for more. Bitfarms definitely got to be careful with up here because it's up a lot super quickly. So I wouldn't expect much more, but I'm not taking any off just yet. And then Galaxy. So I'd put Galaxy maybe a little less so than Oklo and Rigetti, but similar idea where this broke out, pulled back, and looks to be breaking out again. For this one, I don't hate ads. Sorry. I don't hate rebuys or ads closer to the cloud. But if you wanted to do this, you'd probably want to do it like at 28. I just didn't. I mean, the bigger miss, the miss of the quarter probably for me was this. And this is one I basically look at every day, but we talked about this head and shoulders, and I said I'm never bullish when I see this. Everything I did was correct to me up until when this broke the right shoulder. If you're gonna long a structure that looks like this, that's the time to do it. I just didn't. Just flat out didn't do it. So that would have been the level, 1735. Again, this is log, so log scale, log fibs. We are there at the target. Great move. Missed it completely because I was in it and then out of it. Oklo, same example, same deal. This one I have less of an excuse to be out of. It didn't ever look terrible. I bought gold instead. That was the problem. And I didn't get back in, so that's a mistake. If you're not sure, you can just turn on fractals. Fractals will tell you. That's the level to pay attention to. Just like on RGTI, I bet it was the same. Yep, 1735. So that's on me, Pat. That's on me. But I know a lot of people are like partying because they've been holding it, which good for them. That's, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. They've done well. They were correct, right? At the end of the day, they were correct. I bought Zcash instead. Oh, DocU, my bad. Thank you, Ray. Let's take a look. DocuSign, there it is. Trying. It's trying. It kind of looks like Curve, doesn't it? I mean, it looks better than Curve, to be clear, but doesn't look terrible. Regardless of the company. The cloud likes it. The pattern likes it. It looks convincingly-ish. A breakout. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. What's the other one that comes to mind? Oh, someone's asking me about Grab. This is another one I was out of. I got out of and could have gotten back in and just didn't. Smaller percentage move on this, to be clear, but it's still a 20% gain. It looks closer to the target than I'd like to jump in up here, but you're doing great if you've been holding since 5. Doing great. Yeah, lift we mentioned real quick at the open. I think it looks fine. No issues on that one. Plenty of room. They're coming for me. They're coming for me, chat, because I got out of Oklo and Rigetti, and now they're both up 60%. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Etsy, yeah. This one's been, have we looked at this ever on stream? It's been, I feel like we probably have, but I don't remember. It's been super, super volatile lately. I don't hate it as a starter trade down here. You just have to be careful that this is not a Head and Shoulders, whatever this morphs into, you know? So I like it. I like it at any price, as long as it doesn't drop, I don't know, below like 55. Is this the chart of the stream? Etsy? I don't think so, but not a bad little setup there. Not a bad little setup there. Interesting. I'm gonna write that one down just to remind myself. Yeah. If anything, you could argue maybe a little inverted Head and Shoulders action there too. Not terrible. Kind of reminds me of that rare earth ETF. This is another one I need to absolutely keep watching because I'm out of it right now, but I jumped out on the fractal, which after being up 30%, totally correct in my book, but now it's right here as I'm talking about like re-entries and all this other crap I missed. It is right there. If I can move this alert, I don't think I can. Anyway, a new higher high, and I should get back into this if we get it. It is up a lot in a short amount of time, but I still like this 2x target from here even. What else we got? MIN, that was another like mining play. Kind of hit its target. I don't see much on that one. Nobody came in asking about KWeb. Come on. Look at that. KWeb. Love it. Nice parabolic move. Sir Sully dumped Oklo too. HAFN. I have a little bit of boat right now, but I didn't buy this one. I don't hate it. It's pulling back, but doesn't it have like a 9% dividend or something too? I don't know. It looks fine. Looks fine. Yeah, sorry. We'll take a look at JD. What were these other ones? Yeah, so I really like Etsy. BCH. Someone asked actually in current year is asking me about BCH. Let's take a look. Chat. What can we see here? Well, there is a W thingamabob here. So technicals do not hate it. We just draw this like this. Say, okay, there's the high, there's the low, approximately 2x from here. Now, am I going to trade this? No. But the technicals are there to support the idea. We'll say it like that. HYLN. Here we go. Okay, what is this? Something I can't pronounce. Holdings Corporation. Yeah, I don't hate it. Nice little daily breakout there. I gotta do some minimal research, some Googling, see what that is, but just because I'm curious more than anything. JDC? That just looks like the move happened. I got nothing to say on that one. JD kind of just looks like chop. I don't have anything to say there either. And it's trying to break out. I guess if you're trading like this falling wedge thing, you're happy. Sure. A little speed round before we go. X4, okay, little inverted head and shoulders there. This thingamabob. Nice little horizontal. A little early, but I don't hate it. PLG. Platinum. Let's take a look at the platinum. Yeah. Down only for like 2 decades. Bottomed for a decade. I mean, if you're gonna shoot your shot, better this decade than the last. I can say that. Doesn't look bad. Just gonna write that one down to remind myself. Doesn't look bad, chat. Who's that? Chris? Chris with the PLG MDT Medtronic. Yeah, similar inverted head and shoulders. Yeah. You know, it does look good. It does look good. It reminds me of this before it broke up. Nubank. This is another one. I was watching it. It was super choppy, and I just didn't do anything. Didn't take action. It's up 17% from the breakout. You got to stand your ground and be ready. You know, that's my takeaway. Can't be watching this stuff and then just do nothing. It's too late now, but this is like a crypto, not a crypto bank, but a neo bank out of South America. Not Venezuela. I forget which country. Yeah, Galaxy we looked at. All right, real quick. Speed round. QMCO. Quantum. Little falling wedge breakup. A little late, but if you're in it, good for you. B-Fly. Same deal. Kind of had to be in it or waiting for the right shoulder there on the inverted head and shoulders. AARON. Super chop. Starting to break up. Don't hate it. SMR. This is nuclear, right? This is another one similar to Rigetti. Clearly it wanted to break down. Clearly it had this head and shoulders stuff. Today would be the day to say, okay, we are invalidating the head and shoulders. The target is 71 to 84. I don't hate it. Thanks for the shout out on SMR, ARQQ. Same deal. Quantum nuclear, this stuff's all just breaking up. Looks good today. UMAC. Unusual machines, okay. Little reconsolidation. Last one. That one looks good today, by the way. In case I sound like whatever about it, it looks good to me. Yeah. Trying to break up, trying to make higher highs. Not terrible. Yes, clean spark head, inverted head and shoulders, absolutely. All right, that's all I got for this one. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. I hope you like the new day, Friday, for the stream. Hopefully we won't curse Fridays from here on out. That's all I got for this one.